You've just closed out a 60-hour work week. The stressful meetings, the piling deadlines, and a dozen tough decisions. Your body is screaming for rest. Your mind is begging for a moment of silence. And finally, that moment arrives. You get home, drop your keys, kick off those constricting shoes, and sink into the familiar embrace of your couch. It feels almost sacred to sit down, close your eyes, and just breathe. Do nothing. Think of nothing. Simply exist. But that peace is often painfully fragile. In less than 5 minutes, sometimes less than one, you hear it. A sigh from the kitchen, heavy with wordless judgment. A casual remark drifting through the room. Must be nice to be able to relax. Or worse, your job must not be too tiring. And then, like a dark magic trick, a list of urgent tasks materializes. The light bulb in the storage room that's been out for a month suddenly becomes a critical priority. The houseplant needs watering, even though you just watered it this morning. Some repair project becomes a matter of life and death. Your small, rightful moment of rest is instantly criminalized. You feel like a convict caught red-handed, slacking off. And the big, nagging question rises. Why? Why does a natural, necessary act like resting trigger such a powerful reaction of discomfort and sometimes even hostility? What is hidden behind that look, that sigh? Today, we're going to peel back the layers of this complex psychosocial phenomenon. This is not a critique, and certainly not a blanket indictment of women. This is a journey deep into the corners of the mind, the invisible fears, the deep-seated cultural programming, and the subtle mechanisms of control that sometimes even the people involved aren't fully aware of. Let's begin. The first and most crucial thing to understand, this discomfort largely is not actually about the specific household chores. Observe a classic scenario. You've spent your entire Saturday morning cleaning the house. You've vacuumed, mopped, done laundry, and everything is tidy. You reward yourself by sitting down, opening your personal laptop to watch an entertaining video or simply browse the news. And right as you hit play, a voice chimes in. Hey, can you check the fridge? It seems to be making a weird noise. Even though that fridge has been making a weird noise for 3 months, and nobody cared. This is the core paradox. The issue isn't that something needs doing right now. The issue is that you are doing nothing. Notice this. When you're focused on company work from home, things can be very quiet. When you're fixing a leaky faucet, nobody bothers you. But the moment you transition from working mode to resting mode, an invisible psychological switch seems to flip. Suddenly, the vacuum cleaner roars to life right outside the room you're in. Suddenly, washing the dishes, which could wait, becomes oddly loud and urgent, because at this moment, your attention is no longer occupied by another legitimate task. It is free. And that freedom, that idleness, becomes an intolerable stimulus. So, remember this. The attack on your rest is often not aimed at the volume of work, but at your very decision to stop. It's a subtextual message. You are not permitted to cease production. And when you dare to stop, another layer of language, sharper and more toxic, is often deployed. Listen to these phrases. Do they sound familiar? What kind of man gets tired from just a little work? It's just a small thing, and you're already complaining. My father back in the day, he single-handedly provided for the whole family, worked his fingers to the bone from dawn till dusk, and never uttered a single complaint. Or more subtly, "You look really sluggish. Are you not sleeping enough?" A question wrapped in concern but laced with criticism about your endurance. These statements are not random. They are arrows, deliberately aimed at the core of your identity as a man. They're not simply complaining that you're not doing something. They're attacking who you become when you're not doing something. And the coded message underneath is very clear. Rest is seen as weakness. Stopping is treated as a loss of value, and the need for recovery is framed as a failure of masculinity. In this rigid, outdated template, masculinity is defined by boundless energy and ceaseless production. You are the builder, the protector, the provider, roles so romanticized that they have no room for fatigue, for emotional or physical depletion. You are expected to be like a well-oiled machine, always running, always operational, always outputting results. So, when you outwardly manifest a need for rest, you inadvertently crack that image. You are no longer the reliable machine. You are showing you can break down. And in the eyes of some, that's a sign of decline, a drop in value. They don't see a human being in need of restoration. They see a tool with diminishing performance. This leads us straight into one of the biggest contradictions of today's gender equality era. On the surface, we've made great strides. We advocate for sharing financial burdens, dividing housework, co-parenting. In theory, this is a monumental step toward healthier relationships. But in reality, in many homes, that equality often operates like a one-way street, the street of duty and responsibility. Observe the difference in how we frame behavior. When she takes an afternoon for herself, getting a massage, meeting friends for coffee, or simply lounging with a novel, it is often positively labeled. It's self-care. It's me time. It's necessary to recharge after hard emotional labor. And that is completely valid and deserves respect. But when you, the man, want a few hours to pursue a personal hobby, playing golf, gaming online with your crew, going on a long bike ride, or even just catching up on sleep after a week of deprivation, immediately a different frame is applied. It suddenly becomes a problem. It's called selfish. It's avoidance. It's not caring about the family. Your rest is not viewed as a legitimate physiological and psychological need, but as an irresponsible choice to prioritize yourself. To put it bluntly, we are sharing the burdens, but we are not sharing the right to recover. We demand equality in labor, but maintain inequality in rest. This is a form of invisible mental exploitation, where a man's energy and time are seen as an infinite resource to be perpetually on call. So, the pivotal question is, what is actually happening in their mind when they see you rest? If it's not just about the chores, then what is it? The answer often lies in a subterranean tremor of invisible fears, deep-seated anxieties about themselves and the relationship. When you sit down, stop, and do nothing, it can trigger a cascade of insecure questions within them. Is he losing his drive? Is he still the hard-working, responsible man he used to be? If he's content doing nothing, not constantly pushing forward, what does that mean for our future? And perhaps the deepest, hardest-to-voice question: if he's finished his duties of earning and chores, and now he doesn't need to do anything, then what does he need me for? Let's analyze this from a more pragmatic psychological angle. A perpetually busy man is a predictable man. He's on a set track. Wake up, go to work, come home, maybe do chores, go to sleep. That track creates a sense of stability and order, and within that order, there is a manageability. He has little opportunity to veer off course. A chronically exhausted man is a man with little surplus mental energy. The burnout makes it hard for him to deeply reflect, to ask the big questions about life purpose, job satisfaction, or even the quality of the relationship itself. But a fully rested man? That is a potential threat to the status quo. He has clarity. He has mental energy. He has the time to look back at his life honestly. He can start to ask himself, what am I doing all this for? Am I truly happy? Is this relationship nourishing me or depleting me? Therefore, your rest, paradoxically, can become the greatest threat to some people's sense of security, control, and self-worth. It opens up space for contemplation, and contemplation can lead to change. This brings us to a brutal but important truth to confront. In many relationship dynamics, controlling a man's time is controlling the trajectory of his life and his awareness. Visualize two clear scenarios. Scenario 1. A man in a constant state of busy. Busy with work. Busy with chores. Busy with worries. He is like a horse, running endlessly on a hamster wheel. His eyes are fixed wearily ahead, focused only on the next step. He has no perspective, no distance to see the whole wheel, let alone the time to ask, why am I on this wheel? Where is it taking me? Is there a way off? In this state, he is extremely easy to steer. Whoever holds the reins, whether societal pressure, family expectations, or a controlling partner, can easily direct him simply by adding a little more burden, a little more guilt, or a promise of future peace. Scenario 2. A man who dares to step off the wheel. He stops, sits down, and takes a deep breath. In that stillness, the sounds of the world around him become clear. He can see the mechanism of the wheel. He can see others running on their own wheels. And most importantly, he can start asking the dangerous questions. Am I running for my own dreams or for someone else's expectations? Is this chronic exhaustion worth it? What do I actually want? When you rest, you reclaim the most valuable control. Control over your own cognition and attention. You stop reacting to external demands and start listening to the internal voice. And that is precisely what is frightening to any system built on compliance and control. Busyness maintains power by disorienting you. Rest shatters that power by reorienting you. And this is perhaps the most tragic and dangerous stage in this entire process. The internalization of control. Or in other words, when you become your own jailer. After months, years of constant interruption, nagging, and being saddled with guilt, whenever you try to rest, a terrible thing happens. Your brain and heart begin to absorb that message. You no longer need an external sigh. Now, your own internal voice speaks up whenever you relax. You sit down to watch a football game but can't enjoy it due to a vague feeling that you're wasting time. You go fishing with friends, but spend the whole time anxious about things you should be doing at home. You're on vacation but find yourself creating work because you feel restless, uneasy when not producing something. You have been successfully programmed. The external control has now fully transformed into internal self-control. You voluntarily comply with the rules without any overseer. And at this point, true freedom has been completely stripped away. You may no longer be yelled at, but you have become a slave to the beliefs seated within you. However, and this is critically important to emphasize, we are not talking about all women. We are analyzing a toxic behavioral pattern, a type of relational dynamic that can appear in any gender, but in this context is often exhibited by some individuals. A woman who is truly emotionally mature, who has healthy self-esteem and genuine love, will see this issue completely differently. She understands basic human truths, that men are not robots, that mental and physical energy is finite, and that rest is not a luxurious choice, but a biological necessity. She respects your space and private time. She does not feel threatened by your hobbies or your moments of solitary relaxation. On the contrary, she sees them as a smart investment in your well-being, and by extension, in the well-being of the relationship. Because she knows an obvious truth. A man who is fully rested, re-energized, will be a more patient partner, a more present father, a more attentive and creative lover, by orders of magnitude. She wants a partner who is living, not a machine that is existing. So, how do you know which type of relationship you're in? Take this simple yet profound litmus test. Next week, intentionally carve out a clear period of rest for yourself. Maybe 30 minutes of quiet reading, a solitary walk, or simply meditating. And then, ask yourself the key question. During that time, did they act as a protector of my peace or as a saboteur of it? Observe honestly. If they were supportive, created space for you, maybe said, "You rest, I'll handle this," or simply respected your silence, that's a sign of genuine care and healthy love. They see you and your needs. If they applied pressure, created conflict, complained, continuously bothered you with trivial tasks, or created an atmosphere of passive-aggressive tension, that's often the alarm bell indicating a need for control, deep-seated insecurity, or an unhealthy attachment. In the end, the message I want to leave you with is clear and unequivocal. Rest is not a manifestation of laziness. It is a manifestation of wisdom, of knowing how to value the most complex and precious machine you own, your own body and mind. Rest is not an evasion of responsibility. It is how you prepare to shoulder responsibility in a more sustainable, effective, and heartfelt way. Rest is the non-negotiable prerequisite for you to live a long, healthy, fulfilling, and authentic life. Remember this. Someone who truly loves you will not want to see you depleted. They will not measure your worth by your wear and tear. They will not use your sacrifice and suffering as a metric for love. Someone who truly loves you will want you healthy, will want you vibrant, will want you at peace, not to serve them, but so you can build a life where you both can thrive together. So, give yourself permission to rest. No permission needed. No justification required. Declare it as a legitimate need because you deserve it. Because it is not a bestowed privilege, but a fundamental human right. The right to regenerate. The right to exist, not just produce. Someone who loves you wants to see you thrive, not just survive. I really want to hear your story. Have you experienced these moments? How have you dealt with them? Did any of this analysis resonate with you? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's discuss respectfully and constructively. And if you feel this video could reach or help someone, don't hesitate to share it. Thank you for your time and your reflection. Take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next part of the journey.